and friends, and welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya. Let's go make some Mexican fudge. Okay, I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And in the meantime, I'm going to take some coconut oil. I'm going to lightly coat this whole pan. I am making half a traditional recipe for this. I don't want a 9 by 13 of this. I am having 4.5 guests for dinner tonight, so there'll be 6.5 people at my table, and we're having pizza, and this is just going to be an appetizer-ish side dish kind of fun thing for people to eat on along with their pizza and salad. And we're having some fresh fruit for dessert. And I've never made this before, but the word fudge gets me excited. But the only thing better than fudge is if it has cheese in it. All right, we have our pan greased. We're going to set that aside. And what I need to do now is I'm using this clear bowl instead of my stand mixer bowl just because I want you to see what it looks like inside. I'm going to take my cream cheese and I put this out on some wax paper. This is 3.5 ounces, so almost half a block of cream cheese. I put it on that just to get it to room temperature for it to soften a bit. And it's pretty soft. I have onion powder. And I'm going to put about 1/8 of a teaspoon of that in there. I love the smell of onion powder. I don't think I ever smelled this as a kid or even a young adult, but man, I love the smell of it. It smells like onion rings to me, and I love me some onion rings. So 1/8 of a teaspoon of that, 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I love garlic powder too, but probably when I was in my teens, I discovered garlic powder. I know that seems kind of strange for people nowadays because they're like, you didn't make anything with garlic powder? Really, we didn't. We had meat, potatoes, vegetables, things from the garden, and anything beyond that was just something people in other countries ate, so we just didn't know anything about it. Okay, I better get a spatula before I go any further. My handy pink spatula. All right, to this, we want to, I need a cup too. I would normally just break my eggs into this. We need to break 3 eggs into that, but if I get a shell in there, I can't see it from the bottom, and that's the whole benefit of using a clear dish, is that if you think you dropped a piece of shell in there, you can kind of hold it up and look from the bottom, or look at the bottom of it and see if there's a shell in there. And that's another reason I like using the brown eggs, is because it's easier to see a shell if you drop it in there. I'm not real bad about dropping shells and stuff, but I don't want anybody to get a bite of it, that's for sure. Okay, 1 egg. I'm going to beat these again and get it real soft and fluffy. All right, the next thing I need to put in there is some heavy cream. You can actually use whole milk or evaporated milk, but I have some heavy cream and I'm going to use that. And I just need about 3.5 ounces, which is about 6 tablespoons. And our oven's preheated. Okay, so not much. Heavy cream or evaporated milk or whole milk. Okay, here's the kicker. Here's my cheese. You saw me grating that cheese a while ago, so I got some guns going on. And we're gonna put all that cheese in here. You can leave a little bit out to put on the top if you want to. I just don't really see that's necessary. I want it all in there. We have Monterey Jack, a pound of Monterey Jack, and a pound of sharp cheddar. Now keep in mind, this is half a recipe. We're talking 2 pounds of each of these cheeses if you do a full 9 by 13 pan. So you gotta really like your friends that are coming over to make a pan like that. And I really like my friends, but we're also having other stuff tonight. This is not the only thing we're eating. I wondered if this bowl was going to be big enough, but we'll get it mixed in there somehow. I just do not like using a bowl that's not plenty big enough to stir it up, but we'll get by. It's mostly cheese anyway. I mean, yeah, eggs, but we're going to put jalapenos in the bottom of this pan, so it's going to have some good flavor to it, that's for sure. All right, I grated this on wax paper just for that reason right there. Now the nice thing about this is, if it's in a small pan like this, this is a this is an 8 by 11 pan. They said you can do an 8 by 8. I just don't know that that'll fit in there. I'm just not trusting the recipe that much, I guess, but I'm going a little bit bigger than what it says. But they said if you do half a recipe, you only cook it for 25 to 35 minutes. If you do a full 9 by 13 pan, you got to cook it for like 45 minutes to almost an hour. So that's another reason to do a small one. Okay. We have 6 ounces of pickled jalapeno slices. These are just the kind in the jar. There's no sugar in it or anything, but these are just pickled jalapenos, and we love these. I buy the big jar at Sam's when I go, and I am a huge fan of jalapenos. Again, something I didn't eat as a kid. I thought all peppers were hot and they would burn your head off nearly, but I love the taste of jalapenos. I wish I'd have known this as a kid. I never saw any when I was a kid. I don't even know if the store carried them, but at some point I realized how good they were, and I can't get enough. Okay, just get those scattered in the pan like that. And I see why they say put them down there instead of just mixing it in with your cheese mixture. Because, yeah, that probably wouldn't work very well. I was thinking this was going to be more runny than this. Place it on there and just push it straight down, because if you try to spread it, it's going to move those jalapenos. Then you're going to wind up with all of them in either one corner or side, and some of the pieces won't get a jalapeno. I would hope that would not be me. I want those jalapenos. And you want to be sure and put oil all the way up the top of the sides of your pan too. One of my jalapenos is trying to sneak out right there. Can you see it in the corner? Get back in there. This is some stiff mixture. Woo! Now what I'm going to do, because this is in the morning, this is before noon, I'm going to bake this off, and then I'll just keep it at room temperature, and then I'll heat it up as I'm getting dinner ready tonight. I won't put it in my hot 500-degree oven with my pizzas, but I'll get it made. Get it heated up right before that. We're going to put this in our oven. Again, 350 degrees. And for 25 to 35 minutes, I'll set it for 25 and see what it looks like at that point. And then I can always add time to it, so we'll be right back. Okay, I think our dish is ready. The buzzer just went off about 3 minutes ago, and I went ahead and added a few minutes to it just because I was doing something else. So we'll get that out of the oven now. Okay, I have to be honest, I have no idea if this is done, but it doesn't seem to be too jiggly. I know that egg dish is like a quiche or something. When you take them out, they're a bit jiggly, so we're gonna assume that this is done. Let me give you a little glance of it there. I'll video it better in just a second. But anyway, I can't wait to cut into this and give it a try. So I'm gonna let this cool off. It'll be a lot easier to slice if you let it cool off. They say about 20 minutes, but I'm gonna give it all afternoon because my guests won't be here for another 6 hours or so. I could turn my timer off, huh? Okay, recipe is in the description as always, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Y'all have a good day. Bye. In my pan to reheat for dinner, and this is how much I still have left in this pan, so we'll have these a couple of times.